Hey, welcome again. We're doing so well at the moment. I hope it's not too overwhelming, all this knowledge stuff I've been throwing at you. A learning curve, I'm sure, for a lot of people. And hopefully you're getting some benefit from it already, and you're starting to maybe even notice some quite valuable changes in your life. Now, remember, it's all about what you put into it is how much you're going to get out of it. Now, today, I'm going to talk about something that I find is the first thing I go to whenever I need to bring myself back, center myself, whatever you want to call it. This is my go-to thing, and it's breathing exercises. I'm sure you've heard about it. I'm sure you've even maybe tried it, but we're going to have a little bit of a twist. We're going to have a little bit of knowledge again behind it, the science behind it, why it's so good for you. And I'm hoping that you can take this, practice it, use the audio, the Transcendence audio, which I'm attaching with this package, which I've purchased and downloaded just for this course, and use it as a background. The whole recording is a 60-minute recording, but you don't have to listen to the music for that long. And we'll go into why this music is beneficial for you at the same time. And we're going to cover delta waves and brainwave music at the end of this video today. So breathing exercises first. Now, one of the things science has proven is that the breathing exercises are beneficial for you both mentally and physically. A lot of unexpected health benefits that for many years just weren't understood. So before we dive into the chemical process that happens when we breathe, we need to understand that when we looked at all the different kinds of chanting, so we have the Om chant, we have chants in the Catholic Church, we have Satana chants used by yoga, even prayers from all over the world. They all seem to have something in common. And it's not the words, it's not necessarily the tone, but it's the length of time that they use to breathe in and breathe out. And the one thing we found was that on average, and of course there are extremes either end, on average, the length of breath in and the length of breath out was approximately 5.5 seconds. Interesting, because if you breathe in for 5.5 seconds, you actually take 5.5 breaths in a minute. Strange, I hear you say. And it is a little bit strange. But regardless of whether that's a coincidence or not, doesn't matter, because what we find that these slow breaths, controlling your breathing, increase the flow of blood to your brain, improving its efficiency. Okay. And of course, improving your efficiency throughout your whole body. And in this respect, prayer can be really good for you. Okay. So what we need to understand is simply that slow, shallow breathing yields unexpected health benefits. Okay. So why is it good to breathe like this? Well, if we look at the biochemistry that goes on in the lungs, we breathe in, oxygen goes into the ends of the peripherals, into the alveoli of the lungs. Okay. And we have an exchange of oxygen molecules, and they attach themselves to red blood cells. Simple, understandable. And of course, these blood cells go around our body, the oxygen gets dropped off, the carbon dioxide gets carried around and brought back into the lungs, and then we can exhale excess carbon dioxide. Now, that's all well and good, but the carbon dioxide is a lot more useful than we think. It plays a crucial role in causing the oxygen to separate from the blood cells. Even more, it helps dilate blood vessels, making them wider to help transport more blood and oxygen around the body. So, of course, when you're doing exercise, this is why we get these the dilation in your blood vessels, because you're forcing this to happen on a much higher level. So when we breathe heavily, we expel our carbon dioxide, which reduces blood flow. Okay, so we have to be careful how we breathe. I know when I was a runner, and it may not look like I used to be a runner, but I did, the breathing I used to implement when running, especially on distance, was a lot slower than you would expect it to be. Okay, and that helped me maintain a good level of speed, endurance, and oxygenation of the body without going hyperventilated while I was out running. And it used to be a great stress relief as well. So when we panic or when we do exercise, we have that, we quite often have that feeling of lightheadedness. And that's basically because we're starving the carbon dioxide from the body. We're getting too much oxygen going to the brain. And we need to reverse that by controlling our breathing, allowing the carbon dioxide to do its thing, so that we can have a nice steady flow of oxygen being compensated by the carbon dioxide as it goes around the body. So all we're going to ask you to do today is, and as many days as it takes to see how it feels, is to practice it. Now, use the Transcendence music that's going to be attached with this by Chris Collins. I'd like to plug him. The music's amazing. And this is my go-to music. This is the thing that I play in the background. This is the thing I play on my Echo, my, whatever speaker system you've got. I can push it through that anytime I want to, put it in the car. And there's no words, which is great. So you can just allow your own thoughts to flow in and flow out and focus on things if you feel you need to focus on those as well. So have a go with the Transcendence audio. Do some normal breathing exercises, 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out. Now, you might find it a little bit difficult at first to focus on that and get the timing right, but with a little bit of practice, it will come. And you'll be surprised that even just 2 or 3 minutes of doing that, how that can help you to relax. Now, if you want to use it for meditation, you don't necessarily have to focus on the breathing 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out for a whole 20 minutes. You might want to just focus on your breathing for the first 2 or 3 minutes to get you into that nice meditative or trance-like state, so that you can relax and be comfortable, and then you can carry on just lying there or sitting there with your eyes closed, whatever you want to do to help yourself meditate and carry on from there. So give it a go and let me know what you think. Please pass comments backwards and forwards, and I can add it to a new video, whatever we need to do to demonstrate to people how effective this can be. Now, the music itself has something in the background called delta wave music. Now, there are several types of brain waves that we're going to go into. In fact, there's 5, and each one has its own sort of use within the brain. So the brain, for example, when you're in a relaxed state, goes into a delta wave state. Now, this delta wave state frequency is somewhere around 400, 500 hertz in whatever that is in volume, okay, in the noise. All right, it's the frequency, that's the word I'm looking for. Okay, and so that frequency in your brain is given off when you're relaxed. So when you're feeling stressed, if you listen to the frequency of relaxation, your brain, after a while, and it can be as short as 2 or 3 minutes, your brain will start to match that frequency. It will start to mirror it. So you'll start to feel calmer, you'll start to feel more relaxed. And you can use different frequencies of the brain to achieve what you want to achieve in your daily life, daily routines, whatever you want to do, whatever's prioritized on that day. So let's have a look at the 5 different brainwave frequencies then. Okay, the brainwave frequencies then. The first one is the delta wave, as we've already mentioned, and this is the slowest one. Okay, anywhere from 0 to sort of 400 to 500 hertz, and it occurs when you're in a deep sleep, and is extremely helpful for growth and regeneration. So when you go into that REM sleep at night, when your brain's rejuvenating, clearing out all the clutter, ready to start a new day, that's the kind of frequency your brain's going to be in when you go into sleep mode. And that's the kind of thing you want to do to feel refreshed in the morning. So rather than necessarily have a power nap, you might find 15, 20 minutes on listening to some delta wave music will give you that feeling of being refreshed, revitalized, and ready to carry on throughout the next of the day. And we all know the benefits of a nice power nap. 20 minutes to 40 minutes is enough for me. Anything over that and you feel like you've slept too much, and it can disturb your night pattern. But if you can keep it down to about 15, 20 minutes, it should not affect your nighttime sleep routine. Okay, another form of frequency then is the theta waves, or theta, depends on how you want to pronounce it. Okay, again, this is used for deep relaxation. It's around the sort of 400 to 700 hertz. It's often reached in the moments after we awake, but not fully awake, or as we're falling to sleep before we hit the delta waves. Okay, so a great one again to use if you want to use that one for meditation. And there's lots of free stuff out there. There's going to be some links attached to this worksheet as well. Okay, next one that we've got is alpha frequencies. Now, alpha frequencies is when you're in a conscious but calm state. Okay, that allows you to regain energy. And in this state, you might be lying in a couch where you're watching TV, reading a good book, or just lying there, sitting there without any stress, any fears, any worries. And you can even get into this state when you're working. And that's when we say when we get into the flow, where your brain is nice and calm, but you're busy working away and you get into a nice flow and everything seems to just fall into place naturally. No stresses, no worries. It's all good. After alpha, then, of course, we've got beta waves, okay? And this is where we're in a brighter, tentative state. This is where we're fully alert, when we're focused on something particular that we want to do, okay? And it's good for the kind of focused attention we need for getting some serious work done, okay? Quite challenging stuff. We need to be right on our game for it. And you might hit the beta waves when you may be doing a talk presentation or, you know, when you're chairing a meeting, for example. Something that you do quite regularly, so it doesn't make you nervous and stressed and worried, but you've got that attention, you've got that focus that you need to get all the points across and whatever it is. Following beta waves, then we've got the final one, the fifth one, which is gamma frequency. This is right up in the high end, around 35 to 70 hertz, which is where we're sought after a state of flow exists again, characterized by a blissful sense of peace where nothing around you can disturb you. It's a state that Buddhist monks working and are very familiar with through their expert meditation. So we can choose which state we choose to be in. We can listen to the right frequency of music. Plenty of free stuff out there, as well as you can buy the Chris Collins stuff. Doesn't cost much at all, okay? And you can download whichever bits of music you want, or you can buy a package. Great stuff. And I'll put the links in on this worksheet for you, so you can have a look at it all. Now, there is free stuff on YouTube. Plenty of free stuff on YouTube. I've got a few selections which I like, which are attached to this. And there's also free stuff on Amazon Prime Music. That's the free music. Okay, of course, there's even more stuff if you pay for it as well. So I don't pay for my Amazon Music. I just listen to the free stuff. And I've compiled a nice little playlist of several tracks, which I can just chuck on and listen to in my phone if I just need a few minutes to chill out, refocus, whatever I want to do. So ideally, you want to avoid spending too much time in one frequency. Okay, an hour is probably taking it too far, because you don't want to be in one state for too long. Your brain gets used to it and it can get stuck. Now, one of the things we find with beta mode, that high frequency, this is the sort of state you can get into when you're anxious or worried or stressed. And that's great for a short period of time, as we've talked about in the past. You get those high energy levels and everything else, but you don't want to stay there for too long. You want to be able to bring yourself back down. And of course, if you want to do both in 3 or 4 in one day, you can find the different tracks that you need, listen to the music that's going to represent the frequency you need to be in, having it play in the background, whatever. But I prefer headphones. It really does resonate with your brain much better, I find. And you can downshift, upshift, whatever piece of music you want to do for whatever task you've got to accomplish. So I hope that makes all sense to you. Now, my the audio CD that I gave right at the beginning of this course, the audio for stress and anxiety, that is the same music that I use from Chris Collins. Okay, it's only 20 minutes long, because I find 20 minutes of focused meditation is long enough for me. I found when I listen to ones that are longer, 30, 40 minutes, I tend to start losing my way at the end. I'm waking up, I'm coming out too early, whatever you want to call it. But I find 20 minutes is short enough to find time in the day, preferably morning and evening. And it's long enough that you get into that state, your frequencies are matched. And that again has a delta wave frequency in the background. So hopefully you realize now that when you're listening to this is why you get so relaxed. This is why you might find you actually do drift off to sleep, which is not a problem. Okay. Bit of regeneration. Hopefully you wake up at the end of it still with my voice waking you up. And, you know, this is a simple, easy, but really, really effective way of controlling the way your brain is feeling, which of course when your brain feels bad, quite often physically your body can feel bad. So if we can merge the two, get your brain thinking right, get it feeling right, get it set on the right frequency, you'll find that you can just turn it on, turn it off whenever you need to. And when your brain gets associated to the music, the breathing, the relaxation, you probably find you don't need all of it together. You can just sit in the corner, somewhere nice and quiet, and just take some breaths for 5 minutes. pull over on the side of the road, sit in the car park before you go to work, leave work, whatever you need to do, and just bring yourself down with 2 or 3 minutes of breathing exercises. And it's a great way combined together. I think it's like the perfect solution to calm absolutely anyone down. And again, it's a choice. We can sit there being anxious, doing the anxiety and stress thing, or we can take ourselves away and do something that's going to calm our brain. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find the music soothing as I do. And I hope you find the breathing exercises with a little bit of practice become fluent, easy, and just efficiently good. Okay, it's going to make your whole body feel better. And of course, you can combine this with exercise. If you are a runner, you can practice the breathing exercises while you're running. It could be that you just do it while you're doing simple other exercises that you want to do, while you're doing your housework, while you're sat in the bath, whatever it is. You can combine it with other tasks, so you're not just having to focus on one thing and spend all that time just doing breathing exercises alone. But for me, lying on my bed, headphones on, listening to the music, doing a few breathing exercises, I find 2 or 3, 4 minutes at the beginning breathing exercises is more than enough, and then I can just drift away with the music. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know how you get on, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.